Hi, this is Jen with Unchained Crochet. We are beginning the tutorials of the larger than life wrap. And it is larger than life. So if you'll notice, first off, this wrap starts at the neck, just at the nape of your neck right here. And it is a window pane stitch, meaning that instead of a regular granny, you have every other row, you have these pairs of double crochet with a chain one and another pair of double crochet. Each corner has 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. Every row does. So even the lacy rows have 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. The difference being for the shaping of this shawl, so that your sides do not get drawn up, you want it to grow and lay straight on that edge. So each edge is going to start with a chain 4 and end with a treble crochet. Now I am left-handed. Let me remind you, if you're right-handed, welcome. Don't feel discouraged. You can hold a hand mirror, like a big face mirror, up to your monitor to reflect what I'm doing, so that you can just switch everything if you're able to do that mentally, but visually that would help serve as a guide to how to work this piece. So we're going to start right here by chaining 4, and that chain 4 counts as a treble crochet. Again, we're only trebling at the beginning and end of every row. So we'll start with your slip knot. This is how I make my slip knot. I put my tail behind my finger and hold it there, and then my working yarn runs through my hand. I put my hook behind the tail and hook over to the other one. Pull it across, give it a twist. Now hold right there where your little triangle is made. Yarn over the loop that's on your index finger and pull through that first loop you made. And then just pull your tail yarn, and there's your slip knot. Your slip knot is adjustable, so if you need to make it bigger or smaller, you can. I prefer this method for this particular piece as opposed to like a magic loop, because we don't have that many stitches, and the magic loop can be kind of fumbly, so to speak, and I think more difficult to do than doing it this way. So you're going to chain 4 starting from your hook. Don't count the one that's on your hook. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. This counts as your first treble crochet. Now you're going to working into the first chain. That's the chain that was the loop that was on your hook. You're going to 2 double crochet, because we're starting with a lace row. 2 double crochet. There's 1, and there's 2. Now we're going to make a corner. I don't really count the trebles at the beginning and the end as part of the design, because that is where we are going to put our shawl border. Now we're going to keep looking at this piece so that you can see where we're going and I can point to it, but then I'm going to move it out of the way. So now we've got a treble, 2 double. We're going to make a corner. We're going to chain 2. Now we're going to 2 double crochet again into your first chain, the same one you just went into. Chain 2 again for your next corner. Do 2 more double. And what do we end with? We end with a treble crochet. So treble is to wrap your hook twice, go into your stitch, yarn over, pull through your stitch, draw through 2, draw through 2, draw through 2. So you can see it's a little bit of a taller stitch, and that kind of gives this shawl in particular because we're going to be working around your trebles for the shawl collar right here with your contrast color. It kind of, those extended stitches not only help it to lay straight, but it kind of helps lend that butterfly effect to the piece. So now we're going to chain up. I like to chain 3 because normally for my doubles I do 2 chains. If you usually do a chain double and use 2, you can use 3 for your treble. If you usually use 3 for your double crochet, then go ahead and do 4 chains, but I do 3. And now each row we are doing extra. I need to pause and get a drink. So now we have our first row, and we are going to do our faux double or treble crochet, treble crochet. And you're going to put a treble plus 2 doubles at the beginning and end of every row. So now I've got my treble with my chain start, and now I've got 2 more double crochet in that same stitch. This is how we grow the shawl. That goes, that set there, 2 double and a treble, begin and end every row. So now we're going to double crochet a solid row. We're going to go into every stitch, and in the corners we will do a corner, which consists of 2 double, chain 2, and then 2 more double. I am in the corner now. So we've got in the corner 2 double, chain 2, 2 double. Now we're going to continue on stitching across the row, going into every stitch with a double crochet in every corner, with basically a 2 double, 2 chain, 2 double shell stitch in each corner. Check your corners. You should always have 2 double, chain 2, 2 double, and those corners are easy to recognize holes. And of course the end of your row is another corner, but you're not going to do a complete shell into that. Just keep going into every stitch. When you get to the starting chain of your last row, which is right here, you're going to do 2 double and 1 treble. Here's the treble. Now we're going to chain to do our start of the next row and turn, and then we're going to, you'll either do your chain 3, chain 4, whatever you want to equal a treble, and then you're going to 2 double crochet into that same stitch. Now this is a lace row. So on the lace rows, you go ahead and do your growing section right here. But we are going to chain 1. We're going to skip 2 stitches. Look at the top of your stitches there. You're going to do a double in the 3rd stitch and the 4th stitch right here. Now we're going to chain 1. We're going to skip those last 2 stitches, and we're going to make our shell. 2 double, chain 2, 2 double, right here in the corner. Pay attention, close attention to your corners, and don't skip your corners. We're going to skip the next 2, and we're going to stitch in the 3rd right here. So on the lace rows, you're basically, to construct your lace, it's a chain 1, but you're skipping 2 stitches. I am struggling with my yarn that I threw on the floor. So I've chained 1 last time. Now I'm going to do my shell into the corner. We're skipping those 2 stitches. I've chained 1. We're going to 2 double. Chain 2. 2 double. Keep going around. Chain 1, skip 2, go into the next 2, and double crochet in each. Chain 1, skip 2, going into the last stitch now, into your beginning chain of your previous row. You're going to double crochet twice, and then you're going to treble crochet into that last stitch. So you see how it's kind of taking a butterfly shape. We want that. We want that coverage. It's 3/4 of a square. When you pull your squares out and you steam block your piece, which I highly recommend, once you're getting this close to the size you think you want it, I highly recommend that you steam block with your iron. That way you'll see more what it's going to look like after it's washed and dried. It's going to loosen up quite a bit and you'll get a nice drape. I like to see my drape anyways as I work. I like to blow my lace open with the steam iron. So let's go ahead and do 2 more rows and then we'll be done with this tutorial for this playlist. And next time you see me for this playlist will be when we are to the edge. Of course, I'm not going to do the edge today. You'll have some time to get yours to the point where you're ready to do that little bit of edging there. So I've chained, and now I'm going to 2 double into that first stitch that we just or right above that stitch. 2 double. So we've got our treble, 2 double. This is a solid row. So we want to go into each double crochet and go around each chain 1 space. When you go around the chain 1 space, don't forget you need to do 2 double because we went over, we skipped 2 double down here. We don't want to lose a stitch. So you're going to do 2 double around that chain 1. Go into every double. Go 2 double crochet around each chain 1 space. Don't forget that, or you will short yourself. Your project will shrink overall if you do that. Now we've made it to the corner, so we're going to do what? We're going to do 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet in each corner loop. Look for the little teardrop shape. There's 1 double, 2 double, chain 2, and now do 2 double again. If I am stitching too fast for you, you can, under the settings button on the screen, you can go into your settings and you can adjust, I think it's under quality, you can adjust the speed of the video to make it slower or faster overall if you have trouble following me. It'll make it more like slow motion if you need it more slow. If you're newer, and don't be embarrassed about having to do that. I've had to do that on some videos because people just go so fast. So again, we're going into every double crochet and we're going around each chain 1 space with 2 double crochet on the chain 1 spaces. Now we're in the corner. I just did 1 double crochet. I'm going to do a second double crochet. I'm going to chain 2 and do 2 more double in that corner. Now we're going to go into those 2 double crochet below. And now we're at a chain 1 space. So we are going to do 2 double crochet around that chain 1 space. Go into the two double crochet below. And then do 2 around that chain 1 space. We're going to go into the last 2 double crochet here, and then in our beginning chain we're going to do 2 double crochet in the top of that chain and end with a treble. There's 2. Now we're going to wrap twice, go in, yarn through 2, yarn through 2, yarn through 2. Alright, so that is that. Let's go ahead and do another lace row so you can see that demonstrated one more time, and then that'll be the end of this video. 1, 2, 3, turn, 2 double into that same stitch. Be very careful not to skip that first stitch and doing that increase, or it will totally knock off the shape of your shawl. Now we're going to do this row lace. So every time you start a lace row, you do your growth set there, the 2 double and treble, and you're going to chain 1 and you're going to skip 2 stitches so that your first 2 double crochet right here are going to go right above those 2 right there. So chain 1, skip 2, double crochet into the next 2 stitches. If your window panes are not above each other, you have made a boo-boo. So pay very close attention that they line up. And usually if you're going to make a boo-boo like that and get these off kilter, you've either only skipped 1 stitch, or maybe you've skipped 3 stitches and it throws off your window pane. Or maybe you did not skip 2 to begin with. So it always starts with your chain 2 double in the first stitch, chain 1 and skip 2 stitches, double crochet in the next and the next, into the next 2 stitches. So I'm just going to be quiet and keep going around here, and you can watch as I do it. I think I'm just going to keep this piece going and make some baby doll shawls. Or, you know what? I think this one might just be a shawl for my granddaughter. And I'll make her cousin a little matching one. And if I have enough yarn, maybe I'll just make a matching one for their dolls as well. It would be really cute. Now I'm to the end. I'm going into the top chain with a double crochet, another double, and a treble. That's 3 wraps. Pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through the last 2. Continue in that fashion, in that repeat there. And it grows pretty fast. This is an eye hook that I'm using with some worsted weight yarn. You could even get by, depending on how loose you stitch, I would say an H, depending on the yarn. You can use any size yarn you want for this project because you determine how big it is. But with a worsted, I would recommend anything from an H to even a K, depending on how tightly you stitch. All depends on what you want it to look like. It's lace, so, you know, you want it to be very lacy, go bigger with the hook. And by all means, steam block as you go if you want. Especially as it gets bigger and you think you're almost done. Or want to be done because you're ready to poke your eyes out because you want to move on to the next project. Alright. I will post on another tutorial in this playlist the little border trim. It's just a simple chain and single crochet all the way around the bottom edge, and then we'll also in that video do the shawl collar. I love the ribbing. She's ready for a wash. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this. Have fun.